I mean, you guys honestly basically know as much as I do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back covering iDubbbz. I know, sound the alarms. I only took a one-day break to cover a few smaller topics, and apparently that was one day too late for a lot of people that watch the channel, and just apparently the internet in general, as we got loads of iDubbbz updates to go over. See, I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. The iDubbbz Creator Clash Anisa situation just got even worse. That is the title. That will be the title for today's video. Because of course we've got quite a considerable clips to go over in reference to Creator Clash, and even some stuff that shockingly doesn't involve Creator Clash, but does involve our favourite duo, iDubbbz and Anisa. So let's start off with our favourite pal Sapnap talking about Creator Clash being postponed.
See the thing got pushed back? Yeah, I mean, you guys honestly basically know as much as I do.
Okay guys, we're really starting strong. 6 seconds into this clip and we found out that basically the communication is still shit poor, to the point that Sapnap knows as much as we do. That's a huge red flag. Sapnap and all these other fighters now should know way more than we do. That is really bad. And I'll tell you for why that's bad. Realistically, these fighters should know a lot more than us, especially with how bad the communication has been up until now. Realistically, they should be focusing on communicating with their fighters 10 times better.
Unfortunately, the fight was pushed back to October. I mean, more time to train, I guess. I still want to do it. Although I don't know, like I don't know. You know, people. You know, shit changes.
See, Sapnap says he really wants to do it, but he just gives me that he just doesn't give a flying fuck. And do you really blame any of these fighters that just do not care anymore? There's been no build-up, no hype for this event. The only publicity around this event has been its controversy. So no, I don't blame him for acting like this.
With the date changes, so we'll have to see if it actually ends up happening. I'm kind of out of my hands now. You know what I'm saying? So there's not much I can do about it. I'm gonna keep trading. Not much we can do but cross our fingers and hope shit lines up, you know? And just keep training, because, you know, I kind of like boxing.
Just the way Sapnap is talking about the event tells you all you need to know. Sapnap doesn't really care. He doesn't even know what's really going on with this event. He probably doesn't know the controversy that's even happening around this event. He just seems like he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And that's probably the approach that a lot of these fighters have, is that, look, we still want to do this event, but we don't care. We have no idea what's going on anymore.
Anyways, I like it anyways, so I think I'll just continue to do it. Just continue to do it and, you know, just fight somebody eventually. Worst case scenario, you know? I mean, I think it would be cool to fight Tubbo. I think it's an interesting fight. But, shit don't pan out that way. You know, what can we do?
So this should fill everyone with confidence that even the fighters themselves have no idea what's going on. They really don't care if they don't end up fighting on this event to begin with. This should really fill you with confidence. Now, the next major Creator Clash thing I actually want to go over is Wade's video on Creator Clash. If you don't know who Wade is, you might be familiar with him over the KSI controversy. We've actually covered him pretty significantly on this channel because I've had a few critical thoughts on Wade, but for the most part, I think he's a pretty genuine guy. This is a 48-minute video, so we won't be going over the full 48 minutes. I'm not insane. We're just be going over a few of the best clips from this video.
Well, it's a charity event. Stop telling people that, because it's not what it is. That was the whole issue with the lack of communication behind number 1 and 2. That it's a charity event, charity event, charity event. It's not a charity event. It's a boxing event that you are perpendicularly associating with and separate charity.
I'm glad more content creators and more people are coming out about this whole charity shield that people like Sean DeBlack, iDubbbz and Anisa are consistently using that, you know, Ethan Klein has been attacking a charity event when that's simply not the case, especially with the third one. The analogy I've been using 24/7 on this channel about this is if I took a shit, filmed it and uploaded it and put a GoFundMe link for a charity, is that a charity shit?
That has nothing to do with people buying the boxing event. I was a part of the event and didn't know any of this. I didn't know where money is going, outside of the fact that I was offered and said, no, I'm all good on that. I want to be there to support, and because they gave me an opportunity, which I'll always be grateful for.
This is what I like about Wade, because apart from a few instances with KSI, he's always a pretty fair, reasonable, and charitable guy, no pun intended there, and, you know, I think he gives fair, reasonable take.
The first sentence, a friend made a video accusing H3, the guy we watched yesterday, of abusing his kids? What the fuck are we talking about? And then CPS came to his house? Ethan's son had the stomach flu. Okay, All right, we'll move on. Ethan called out iDubbbz for being friends with people like that. Fair. Who made it seem like Ethan's son was on the verge of dying. The kid was fine. I gotta... Gyardia is actually a fairly common...
But my one critique here, and of course he's just getting the rundown here because he's not involved in the controversy, is that just Wade went off and did just a little bit more research on this, because of course he's not going to be familiar with this. He's a boxing commentator, he's a boxing YouTube guy, a boxing guy just in general. This is not his main forte.
iDubbbz made a video saying Ethan's a bad person, and said Ethan may actually be a bad dad. Lena, AB's wife, don't know who that is. AB... What the fuck was the guy's... Was that the star killer? Lena dropped from the event as her and AB work. Yeah, okay. With H3. iDubbbz also collaborated with very far left content creators in his video about Ethan, which made many of the fighters on the card feel like participating in the event was an endorsement of those extreme beliefs. Supporting Hamas, saying America deserved 9/11. What the fuck?
Of course, Wade is looking at bullet points of the situation because it has now become a pretty hefty situation and pretty hard to dig into, especially if you just want to make a video going over creator clash. But I think, of course, more contextual knowledge, more understanding of the situation would help him develop his opinion on this and really show why people were very disheartened and felt very weird after the content cop dropped on H3.
Hey, let's just say that 1.3 is what went to charity. Because it said it was raised for charity, right? If 1.3 million was raised for charity, if that's the number we're saying went to charity, and fighters got 20%, and then Ian and Anisa got 34%.
Of course, I want to be fair here. In iDubbbz's actual response, he said that that structure where 34% was taken from the profit side of the boxing event came into play for Creator Clash 3.
Here. Again, this didn't clear anything up. It remains true that I earned a fight purse for CC1 along with other fighters. Where did the rest of the money go? This didn't clear that up. Not that we need to go, how much did you earn versus, I mean, some people are going to do that. How much did you earn? We just want like a concrete, what was the amount that went directly to charity? That's really the only answer people need. And how much did you profit? That way we know how much was not given to charity and how much was.
I just don't think Wade has quite wrapped his head around what iDubbbz is saying here, but again, I'd like to hear your opinions and your thoughts on this. What ideas do you have about this? Please feel free to comment down below. That's all I really want to go over in reference to Creator Clash today. One thing before I move on to the next topic to do with iDubbbz and Anisa is this little Instagram story that Ethan put up on his Instagram that I'm very excited about. Friends, it is with great regret that I report that I am sick today and there will be no show. I'm so sorry. You guys know I do everything to avoid cancelling, but it's better I not push it this time. That being said, we have an insane episode brewing for Wednesday with a breaking insider info about Ian and Anisa that even his apologists will be alarmed by. Look, is Ethan just trying to hype up his show on that day, being a bit hyperbolic with his breaking news about Ian and Anisa? Maybe, but if he's actually telling the truth and this is something that even his apologists will, be alarmed by, this could be a huge thing on Ian and Anisa, and I'm very excited to see what it's about. Is it about Creator Clash? Is it just about them in general? Is there something brewing behind the scenes? I'm very interested to find out, and of course, you will find out immediately because I will be uploading a video on it. At least we've got a video set for Wednesday in stone. So that's just going to be absolutely exciting, very thrilling stuff. Can't wait to cover that. But the next thing we're going to be covering to do with Ian and Anisa, I just can't believe it. This is just amazing. Now, the content creator Donut Operator actually recently revealed why him and Anisa and iDubbbz actually stopped all being friends.
So like he went to a range day with me one time. Like we used to talk a lot about content creation and stuff. And COVID rolls around, I get bored at home, so I make where I'm showing my meat.
Really?
And so, well, basically, I'm taking a steak and I'm rating a steak. And like,
see, that's the reaction that you're supposed to have.
Nothing wrong with that. Great laugh, great jokes, fun all around. But of course, this is an iDubbbz video, and iDubbbz kind of doesn't understand the concept of what a joke is or what the word funny means. So I can't wait to see his reaction.
Genius.
I thought it was funny. So I'd be wearing like just an apron. Of course, I'm wearing like boxers underneath. And I'd reach down and be like, this is an A5 Wagyu from down the street. And I would talk about it. And I sent it to Ian, and he got mad and called me and like said I was making fun of Anisa, and like I wasn't. I just thought
stop.
I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during COVID.
This goes back to something that I and many other content creators and people just in general have been saying about iDubbbz for quite a while. He sees himself and Anisa in everything. He sees himself as this constant victim, that anytime a joke's made and it slightly relates to him, or it could be possibly spun to him in any single direction, he becomes an immediate victim. He's done it most recently with Ethan Klein in the content co-op.
You'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
Yeah, it was. He
shit
like
like
said
that.
stuff like that, and yeah, just like haven't talked to him since. That was like 5 years ago.
Over that?
Yeah, and I've like texted him and tried to reconnect with him. He just won't talk to me anymore.
If someone told me a few years ago, even after that video that he did defending Anisa, that he said something about being an ally to that, I would have laughed. I would have told you that he wouldn't have sent that as a message because that just sounds absurd. That sounds like you've gone crazy. But I honestly would believe that now. And even more so with how iDubbbz has recently responded to this clip, because his response and Anisa's response to this is genuinely insane. Conveniently leaving out that your girlfriend at the time was pursuing OF, but you were too pussy to deal with the criticism, so you made a parody account. No, I don't want to be friends with a coward. Sorry, what's the critique here? Is that he made a joke instead of getting all angry and offended and making a whole YouTube video rant about it? Well, what was he meant to do? Was he meant to do that instead of, you know, getting involved, making a joke, not responding to all the criticism, not getting all offended by all the criticism, and just taking it on the chin and moving on? Well, was he not meant to do that? I'm sorry, iDubbbz, what are we really meant to be focusing on here? Where's your epic own? What's the thing here? What, the guy made a joke, got involved, didn't raise to all the people that were criticizing him and his partner, and just, you know, took it on the chin and moved on and made a joke? Are we meant to go, oh god, the horror? Anisa then chimes in saying he also took us to a gun show where a child accidentally fired a gun that was loaded on a sales table in the crowd, and everyone nonchalantly said ND in unison like it wasn't a big deal. And that's pissful. How, Anisa? Like what? My friend recently took me to a pet store and we were going round and a dog got loose and ran away and everyone went, oh, it happens. Oh no. Yeah. Story, fun. He's a bad guy for taking me there now. Maybe people that aren't familiar, by the way, ND means negligent discharge. Funnily enough, actually seems like something that Anisa would have had straight after filming one of our OF videos. And by the way, for transparency, this was the response to what Anisa said on Twitter. Not that I believe the word she said anyway. So what we learned from this video, Creator Clash is still on fire, not many of the content creators actually give a flying fuck about the event anymore. iDubbbz and Anisa are bigger pussies than I first thought, which is just an amazing revelation to come on hold. And on Wednesday, Ethan Klein is dropping something so huge on Ian and Anisa that they might be finished, maybe, possibly. So that is all the latest, most interesting stuff to do with iDubbbz and Anisa. I do really appreciate the support on these videos and people genuinely wanting to hear my coverage and my thoughts on all of this. I do really appreciate it, and I'm very much enjoying the coverage on iDubbbz and Anisa, but of course, at times I do need a break from the coverage, so when I'm taking a couple of days off, right, of course, don't worry, there will be more iDubbbz and Anisa coverage, but I'm just focusing on other topics, other things, taking a little break, taking a little bit of refresher, so I can dive straight in with brand new iDubbbz and Anisa content. And if you want to see that, please feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a future Ian and Anisa video and all of the other content that we do on this channel. But I've been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next Slob video.